Hello again, friends. This is Dan once again with another Bible topic, and today we're talking about a post-flood Nephilim character mentioned in the Bible, and if it's not Goliath or his dad or one of Goliath's four brothers who are all mentioned in the Bible, this is way before that. We're talking about King Og of Bashan. Now, that does sound like a monster name, doesn't it? Og, the monster. Well, it kind of was. Now, the word Nephilim means the fallen ones. They were the products of what we believe fallen angels and human women. This is what the rabbis believed at the time of Jesus and before even. In Genesis 6:2, it states that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, and the word is Adam, which it doesn't say the daughters of Seth or the daughters of Cain, but it's the daughters of all men, Adam. I covered the topic of pre-flood Nephilim in Bible topic number 32, which is called Genesis 6. And the post-flood Nephilim incursion I covered in Bible topic 35, titled Post-Flood Nephilim. Sons of God always refers to a direct creation of God. Now, Adam, of course, was a direct creation of God. We, however, are sons and daughters of Adam. Angels are direct creations of God too. Well, you might say Matthew 22:30 and Mark 12:25 both say that in heaven the angels don't marry. Well, yes, that's true, but there's no need to reproduce to keep the species going, as we live forever in heaven. As born-again believers, though, we do become direct creations of God, or sons of God, as it states in John 1:12. But as many as received him, to them he gave the right to become children of God, to those who believe in his name. Now, all of this doesn't mean that fallen angels can't have sex when they're not in heaven. When it mentions that they left their first estate, it uses the word oikoterion in Greek, which I discussed in another Bible topic. I'll link to that below. This seems to refer to the heavenly body that they're clothed with. The 200 fallen angels apparently disrobed and made a pact with each other to stick to the plan and create hybrids, both to corrupt God's creation, to prevent the messianic line from continuing, and also to increase their numbers. I mean, remember, 1/3 of the angels fell with Satan, which means they're outnumbered 2-1. So he has to increase his army, so to speak. So that's another reason why he wanted to create the Nephilim. Now, once Abraham was chosen and the promised land of Israel came to be, then Satan apparently had another group to do it again in what L.A. Marzulli, a Christian author, called a kamikaze mission to prevent the Jews from entering the land. They knew they weren't going to really succeed and prosper, but they did it as a kamikaze mission because he had 400 years to lay down a minefield, as Bible teacher Chuck Missler described it. This is why God ordered the flood in the first place, and later told the Jewish people to wipe out every man, woman, and child of certain tribes because they weren't fully human. They weren't eligible to be saved. Jesus didn't become a Nephilim. He became a human, 100% human, while being 100% God. These Nephilim were an abomination to God. Now, evil has existed throughout the centuries, but these events were beyond evil. They were so evil that it required such a strong judgment as the flood, and then for God to order the Jews to wipe out every man, woman, and child of certain tribes. King Og is mentioned as one of the giant Nephilim in the northern region of Bashan. To describe his height, they used a bed size. It's not because he had restless leg syndrome, but because this guy was huge. Depending on the type of cubit that's used, either an 18-inch cubit, which is like from your elbow to the top of your fingers, or a 22-inch cubit, his bed could have been over 6 feet to 8 feet wide and from 14 to 18 feet long. That's pretty big. Later, Joshua took over at Moses' death and led the children of Israel to conquer the land promised by God on the west side of the Jordan, because King Og was on the east side of the Jordan. Many remaining Nephilim appear at this point to have heard all they were going to hear, and they fled to other parts of the world, including the Americas, and created false systems of worship, even leading to the Greeks worshiping them as gods, according to Josephus, the historian. Links are provided below, and may God richly bless you.